That's a big portion of it. And I always go back to for the betterment of. So it started with for the betterment of Hamzah. And it's because I was sitting there like doing VDC work, grunt work, trying to finish things. And I'm sitting there at the desk until 9, 10 p.m. I wanted to get out of the door by 5 p.m. and just go be with my family. So I started with technologies, and that, of course, started for the betterment of VDC now because there's other teammates that are also working. They need to be done quickly. So for the betterment of VDC. After that, Haskell disrupted our kind of venture arm that's also looking at innovation. And of course, it's jumping up and down, putting my hand up, trying to get selected. And it became for the betterment of Haskell. So now I'm not just looking at technologies that enable the BDC team, what they do, but the whole company in general. And that was like the progression after that, going to some different conferences and sharing some of these experiences. I'm like, why don't I go and be for the betterment of the industry? So that's the impetus of the book. I was just really trying to share all the knowledge I've gained throughout implementations, failed and successful implementations. That's the more I talk to people, the more I realize, oh, I've been through that struggle.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about, I mentioned that also in the book, which is it's really my target audience is mid to small size construction companies, our GCs, trade partners, all of that, because they don't have an innovation person. They don't have an innovation team. Probably don't even have a BGC team. They have one person that does IT and everything else, and that's their tech. So that was the idea. Like, how do I reach those people? Because helping them helps us as the GC. And that's something that we've struggled with, like working with trade partners in remote areas that are not tech savvy, though it hinders the project a little bit. So how do we bring them up to the state of technologies and using the different tools that can enhance all of our work? I always believe that understanding the problem is the solution. So that's why I started the book with the section of why. What are the problems in the industry that need solving? And one of the things that I mentioned there is there's four different chapters talking about safety, big important aspect. Communication in general is a big component that can use a lot of enhancements. And then we have a progress track and how do we capture that? And then the last one is risk management. And the way that I frame it is, if you don't acknowledge that you have a problem, then there is no point in continuing with the book. There is no point in looking at technology and solutions. You don't believe that there's a fundamental problem with the way that we're doing things right now, then there's no point in trying to solve it. And that's the biggest part of the what is you don't like, I'm trying to reach out to the reader. Again, my audience focusing on small to mid-sized construction companies saying, hey, you've acknowledged that you have a problem or opportunities for improvement. So I like package it, opportunities for now. I don't want you to think, oh, now I need to hire developers. Now I need to figure out how to build something that makes better. But no, all of these solutions already exist. There's tons of technology solutions from startups, from established companies, from IPO companies that can solve a lot of these problems. You just need to change that mindset and start experimenting and seeing what works and what doesn't and how to get it. So me talking to the reader, I'm like, I threw at you so many opportunities for improvement. I threw at you some different technologies that are existing out there that you can just have and implement. But how are you going to start? Where are you going to start? Yeah. I think Picasso said it as, give me a blank canvas. I don't know where to start. I have to put a dot somewhere to know where to start, right?
Yeah.
So that's what the third section is about, right? Third section is talking about how do you implement it. And the way that I also try to pitch it is with the builders framework. Try to make it easy to remember, right? People love acronyms and those things. So builders, it goes into the first thing is like you start with the B, which is more. You want to understand what your processes are, what existing solutions you have, what's your tech stack currently, where are your bottlenecks in the company, where are the biggest opportunities for improvement. You want to highlight those. You want to find those opportunities for improvement before you start implementing it. Because again, like I've been guilty. I mentioned this at least 7 times in the book. I've chased the shiny object so many times, and I'm like, that technology looks cool, right? To like just shove it down somebody's throat. That's a workout. If you're not finding the right problem statement, you're not.
So you want to be pulled by the business rather than push it.
Exactly. So benchmarking, understanding your processes, understanding your tech stack, where you stand, what are the biggest bottlenecks that you want to solve for. That's step one. So you're going to have to be talking to people, but getting their buy-in, showing them the vision of why are we even trying to look at this? And I always go back to the Culture Code by Daniel Coyle, one of my favorite books. He talks about like creating a good culture with any company. Depends on what. One is sharing vulnerabilities. So when you're talking to people, you're asking them for help. You're not just dictating, show me your problem statements, stuff like that. You're asking them for help. Like, I need to help you. Help me help you. And then talking about sharing the vision. Why are we trying to do this? Because if they don't see that vision, they're not going to try to strive. Yeah. Third one is case.
But I think just taking a step there, then how do you do that? Right? Like the medium of communication can be very challenging. Is it in-person workshops? Is it customer interviews with the end user? How do you start to get that buy-in? You're trying to get buy-in from that.
You're trying to get buy-in. That's really it. And how you get that is by showing them the future, showing them the vision. Here's where we want to go. Why do we want to do that? Going back to start with why, going back to understanding what are we trying to solve for? And make it about that, not about the company, not about the project. That's always right. What's in it for me? It's extremely important every time you're talking to somebody to focus on the project. Don't focus about bottom line, company, whatever it is, reputation. That's all going to come if you focus on the person. What's in it for you? How can I help you be more productive, happier? It's different from platform to platform. They saw things, but word of mouth and like that grassroots adoption is fire. Like something as simple as Pipeable that was one of our most successful pilots way back when, like 2018. And how it spread is we started with 2 APMs and project managers. And because they have lunch with each other about different projects and stuff, and people just started talking about how, you're still working on large Excel. What I'm doing over here. And it's just like overnight, it just spread like wildfire and everybody wanted access to it. And that's scaled very quickly.
And was that just really your solution, just a critical hair and buy problem? It wasn't, they did really good implementation, they did great L&D. It was just,
they did all of that. They know that